all about. It's about death. You're not celebrating your birthday. You're celebrating the fact that you're still here, right? You're celebrating the fact that you didn't die. 40th time in a row I've made it to this day. Crushing it. Thank you. And I want to celebrate that because I've had a few close calls. There was a couple times I thought maybe I wasn't going to make it till 40. Yeah, I know some of you heard about this in my last special. 20 years ago, I overdosed on heroin. Yeah, that's a real thing. In my defense, I did start doing it in the 90s when drugs were still good for you, right? They were part of a complete and healthy breakfast. Don't you remember that? There was the commercial and the little cartoon guy would come and he'd put the smack on all the kids' cereal. I was doing a lot of hallucinogens then too. Some of that might not be real. But I got off the drugs and everything. That's a long time gone and didn't kill me. And let's see, what else? I was struck by lightning in 2008. Yes, that is a real thing that happened. Because apparently God is real, and so is all that stuff about him hating the gays, apparently. Oops. Literally, lightning came through the roof of my apartment and struck where I had been just standing a moment before. And the only reason it didn't hit me directly and kill me was because I had crossed to the other side of the room to watch Ellen. What a fucking cliche, right? Like, Ellen saved my life. Yeah, me too, bitch. Yeah, me too. Also, I wrote the Ellen DeGeneres Show a hilarious email about it. They did not respond. Oh, I guess I have to be an adorable breakdancing 8-year-old who almost gets struck by lightning to get on the Ellen Show. Because I love Ellen, she's a hero of mine. I wrote this joke before she tried to accept Kevin Hart's apology on behalf of all the gays, and we found out she was friends with George W. Bush. But I love Ellen. I love her so much. She's fantastic. I always wanted to go on her show because I'm a gay comedian. She's a gay comedian. Go on there and, get one of those big checks or something. She loves to give those big checks, free car. I mean, I don't have a spouse serving overseas, but I would also like a free car, Ellen. Hook her brother up. But no, that didn't happen. But it didn't kill me. I was fine. And then let's see what else. Oh yeah, I found a lump on one of my testicles a few years ago. Yes, gentlemen, check your junk. Yes, that is a real thing. I woke up in the morning and one of my testicles hurt. And people without testicles, that's never great. That's never a good sign. Best case scenario, you lift the sheets. Your best friend's down there, just punched you in the balls, and he's like, "Ha-ha!" But I made waffles. That's. Get out of here, you crazy scamp. So I'm like, oh man, my ball hurts. I should get down there. I should check it out. I don't know, but I don't know what I'm gonna find. It's like another hand reaching out from the inside trying to feel that, feel me. I don't know what's going on down there. So I'm checking out and I find a lump on my testicle and I'm like, oh no, is it cancer? Am I gonna need chemo? Am I gonna lose a ball? Who is gonna play me in the Lifetime original made-for-TV movie about my life? Why do they want to call it One Foul Ball and You're Out, the Michael Furr story? That makes it sound like I play baseball. I'm like, I actually am a stand-up comedian. They're like, all the actors attached want to butch it up. I'm so sorry. And I'm like, let me go to the hospital and figure it out first before I start making the plans of who's gonna play me in the movie. So I go to the hospital, because I'm poor. I go to the hospital and I go talk to the woman at the front desk and I'm like, I got a thing. She's like, what? I'm like, I got a thing. What? And I'm like, I have a scrambled egg, okay? I have one nut that's a little nuttier than the other one, okay? I've got a wacky huevo, okay? Help me out. And then of course, comedian, I think, this is the perfect time to be hilarious, right? Perfect time. And I was like, and can I specifically request a not hot doctor? And she's like, sir, this is a hospital. Can you take it a little serious? I'm like, I am very immature. I'm sorry, I use humor to deflect. I apologize. So finally, I wait a million hours in the waiting room, of course, which, of course, so fun. We always get to play that fun waiting room game in the emergency room. What's wrong with that guy, right? You're like, ooh, is that contagious? Is that what's wrong with you, or do you just look like that? But hard to be there as a gay man, because I know every single person in that waiting room is looking at me, and they think I'm there because I got something stuck up my butt, right? And I'm like, not this time, sir, not this time. They're just trying to figure out what it is. They're like, looks like a, I don't know, gerbil? No. So finally, I go back to see the doctor, right? He could not have been hotter. He could not have been hot. He looked like a porn star doctor. I think his name was Dr. Rod Lovecock, actually. So he's sitting there and he like gels me up to do like the sonar or whatever, and they're projecting my balls bigger than Jesus, just on the wall. I had no idea there was so much going on in there. It's all built up. There's like an Arby's now. It's really built up in there now. It's really nice. Like, they used to be a Quiznos. I'm glad they turned that over. And so I'm sitting there. But of course, it's Baltimore, so it is a teaching hospital. So while I'm laying there with my balls out to God, projected on the wall bigger than God, they just keep bringing in more and more 19-year-old medical students to talk about my balls like I'm not in the room. Which I was hoping was a fetish I didn't know I had yet. It was just uncomfortable. So of course I'm like, perfect time to be funny again. I'm like, can I get some of those for my MySpace? This was a long time ago. I'm like, can I get some of those for my MySpace? They're like, this is a hospital. I'm like, I'm very mature. I'm so sorry. I use humor to deflect. So, they did a bunch of tests and everything, and it turns out it wasn't cancer, which was really, good, of course. And they were like, but, while we were down there checking it out, we found another lump that we can remove. It's on your, I'm going to say nutsack, by the way. I know it's a scrotum, but that word does not sound nicer than nutsack. Okay, scrotum is a disgusting sound. You named your daughter Scrotum, and you let me know if you think that word sounds nice. This is my daughter, Scrotum Marie. Isn't she lovely? So he's like, we found this other thing, and we can remove that with a very easy outpatient procedure, but I'm like, what about the lump I found? They're like, no, it's fine, just don't get stabbed in the balls. Like, more so than someone else? They're like, no, we just tell everybody that. Just don't get stabbed in the balls. So I'm like, okay, cool. So I'm like, all right, but doc, like, what's going on with my balls and the lumps of my balls? And he was like, some people just get lumps, it's cool. I'm like, but why my balls? And he's like, well, they just like to grow places that are dark and swampy. Dark and swampy? How did he know my balls' nicknames? Wait a second. So I go to get the surgery, and I'm there for surgery day, and everybody's walking around in like, pre-surgery fancy outfits, right? So I got like a little vest on, and they all have this little tag inside that says Standard Textiles. So anybody else who's like nervously pacing around, I'm like, hey, nice outfit. Standard Textiles. They're like, sir, this is a hospital. I'm like, I'm very mature. I'm so sorry. Use humor to deflect. So there, I'm like, getting ready or whatever, and they put a wristband on me. They're like, now this is so when you wake up from surgery, we can keep an eye on you, make sure you're okay, so you don't fall over and hit your head. And I was like, oh no, I'm just doing like I'm not going under. They said I could be awake. And she goes, oh, well, you're very brave, aren't you? What? No. Does that say that in my chart? Can you change that, please? No. Is there a coward's option? You should check a box that says I am a coward. I'm allergic to penicillin and I am a coward. Can you make sure my files are correct? She's like, yeah, calm down, bitch. So I go and I lay down. And they like put the thing up, because they don't want you to look, But if you've ever had surgery, they cover every part of you except the part that's about to be operated on. So it's just me with every part of me covered except my balls under medical grade lighting, which is the brightest type of lighting. I don't know if you know that. Anybody with balls, if you think you know what your testicles look like, you haven't seen them under medical grade lighting. I'm so sorry. Trust me. I thought I had a general sense of what was going on down there, and I took one look and I was like, do I have Bernie Sanders in a figure 4 leg lock? What is going on down there? Is Einstein coming back to life through my balls? What is happening? So they put the partition up and they're sitting there, which is weird because I'm like awake and I can feel it and I can hear it and stuff, and I'm just laying there and they're doing the surgery, and then I'm just sitting there and the doctor just goes, so what are you doing this weekend? Icing my crotch? I don't know. I don't know. But he was talking to the other doctor, right? And she goes, oh, I'm going to a concert. And I was so relieved because, of course, I think this is the worst thing anyone's ever had to look at. And I was so scared he'd be like, what are you doing this weekend? And she'd be like, drinking heavily to forget this day. Oh, man. I will never forget what I have seen here this day. So, I got the surgery and everything, and it was fine. It's all got stitched up. And people with balls, just in case you were wondering, how bruised can a set of balls be? The answer is completely. It is completely. It is 100%, I would say, is the correct answer. For 4 to 6 weeks, I looked like someone had tried to make an old-timey football with discarded eggplant. It was really bad. Not great. I'll give you a minute to process that. Thank you. Yes, thank you. Thank you. I'm a visual storyteller. I don't know if you knew that. So now, years later, you would never know there'd ever been anything wrong down there unless you were, like, really right up on them, in which case, thank you for your concern. No, it's not cancer. And also, like, please don't talk with your mouth full. That's gross, right? Please don't talk. My boyfriend is somewhere in this audience right now going, ugh.